If you're up on stereo, feeling all days to come to Two-Side on Tuesdays and Thursdays, chilling out, maxing, relaxing and smoking, joking with the boo. Oh yeah, I'm toking. Ooh. Okay, that's all I got.
John.
Welcome, everybody. Oh, that's right on. Good to see you too, man. So close.
There you go. You good? Oh. All right.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. Oh.
So we are now live on our YouTube channel at Two-Sided Pod, TWO Sided Pod, all one word is our handle, and you'll find us there. And if you're not listening live to see our live faces, you can always check out the recordings.
Right, and also we are the Two-Sided Podcast. Welcome everybody who might be watching. Hello, viewers at home. I see what you're doing. Keep your hands where Jesus will be proud of you. You can play that one back. And it works anytime.
Thing. I don't think we're sharing anymore. Think it's catching up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we're sharing anymore. John, you got to figure out your life, bro. Either keep going or if I can get off the ship.
That's what they say.
This is literally what happens every time we do this. You're like, I think it's better. We're going to try it again. And you seem confused when it does. What is the rule? We just continue on. We push on stupidly forward. Speaking of stupidly forward, it is Thursday night and we have not had a shot yet. Granted, I feel like I should not hinder you more. It's like kneecapping a midget before a race. You're already...
Is that a thing?
Bro, don't get me started what I heard Tanya Harding did before that Nancy Kerrigan incident. Pretty bad.
You have to practice. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Bing, bing, bing.
Cheers, buddy. Oh, crap.
Okay.
They say that first cut is the deepest.
First cut is the deepest. Come on now, John. First cut is the deepest. Come on now, John. If there was more words, we would just repeat these. First cut is the deepest. Come on now, John.
And before we start our show proper, we have a couple people on the YouTubes already. Julie says, there's those lovely faces. And we got Tammy Potter. Hello, fellas. Foxy in the house.
Oh,
awesome.
What up? Good to see you. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You can go ahead. Any complaints about the audio or video feed that you may be seeing, we will gladly review in the YouTube comments down below, right next to the subscribe and like button. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your parole officer. Just tell somebody.
For God's sakes, please tell somebody.
Just tell someone about the boys podcast. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He deserves success. Just tell the people about stupid podcasts.
Hey, Pete, since we are a little bit behind, I think we should just jump right into the show. What do you say?
I say, all right, John. I say, all right. Let's kick this pig and make it squeal, baby.
Well, then I say, howdy. I'm John L. Peacock out in Brooklyn, New York.
And I'm my boy Pete in Southern California, amazed that that recording is the one thing that continues to work without any sort of failure in John's technological arsenal.
And you're listening to Two-Sided, a live recorded podcast where each week I challenge Pete with a bit of the two sides of life, the serious and the fun.
Yes, John, the right and the wrong, the me and the you, the yes and no, the pull and the tug, the ebb and the pull, the flow and the yang. No, that's the flow and the wang, the yin and the tug. Wait, no, I don't know. You get it. It's an Asian thing.
The flow and the Allstate guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, we weren't able to have our little pre-show chat, so I'll just ask you now. My boy Pete, how are you feeling in one word?
All right.
All right.
All right.
You know, I think you work well with restrictions. I think you love boundaries, you love conformity, and you just dive right in.
I have to find the boundaries so I know how to break them, so I can argue why I'm breaking them. Like, I don't do well in those. Here, well, just the curriculum is your own. Just find out what you want to do. I don't want to do shit. I want to be told what to do. I want to bitch about it and find a way around it and do it better. See, I told you were dumb for making me do it that way. And then, boom. Give me parameters. Parameters. Give me
Perimeters.
Give me parameters in a perimeter, and I will stay within said of both regions. Verbally and physically.
Yes. Well, in that way, you don't have any expectations coming upon you. And when you show that you're smarter than everyone else in the room, they're even more astonished.
Right. When you have, John, every time you say nice things, it sounds like such a fucking shit. And then no one expects things of you. Here's the deal, because you're not on, no one expects you because you don't have any expectations. You then just gonna wow everyone. Wow, you are the smartest guy. Wow. Good.
Wow.
Fuck you, John. Fuck you, John. How am I feeling? Well, I'm glad you asked. I wrote this thesis. What are one's feelings? If one had to put one feeling into one word, wouldn't it be feeling? Because what is one but merely a feeling? John, let me get to the good part. But one feeling isn't enough for one moment. No. But, no, it repeats again. Oh, here we go. But one word is enough for one feeling at one time. So what is one word to describe one moment one feels at one moment of said feeling time? Timeless.
Well, on that timeless note, we're going to jump right into our first lightning round.
Lightning round! It's time to get down! Come on! It's lightning round! Hey, lightning guy. What you been doing?
How you doing, lightning round guy?
I've been pretty good, man. Just hanging out. You know, it's been hard back there. They've been doing a lot of yard work in the backyard. I can't sleep for shit. Well, that's during the day. I know. That's when I sleep. All right, well, we'll talk to the gardeners. All right, I appreciate it. All right. I know, me too. We both had the same thing on the weekend. They've been doing all sorts of yard work. It's been awful. I know, right? Hey, John. What do your gardeners do around your place?
This is New York City. Gardeners.
Perfect. Never mind. All right, you guys gonna play a game or what? I don't know, man. We kind of went off the rails there, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. All right.
Yeah, we did. Well, anybody who's anybody knows that the first lightning round of the episode is always a standard Q&A. My boy Pete, are you ready for the questions?
I think I have to be now. I think I have to get better. I think I have to get better. I have to get better. I have to get better. Okay, I'm better.
First question, my boy Pete, who's your favorite founding father?
My dad.
All right. My boy Pete, who is your least favorite founding father?
Say Jefferson.
Any particular reason?
I don't like the way he looks in those pictures. Always looking down on people, pointing and stuff. Don't like it.
Okay.
Seems a little off to me, John. Seems a little off.
That Francophile. My boy
right?
Pete, when were the dates of the revolution?
John, number one, the revolution wasn't televised. All right, so we can't know for sure. That's number one. So anyone's guess is as good as anyone's guess. That's number two. But if you had to pin me down, I'd have to say it's been some time. But what lessons have we learned? Isn't that the big takeaway, John?
Finally, my boy Pete, who was the first president of the United States?
Oh, see, this is a fucking trick question. I know this is a trick question. They say George Washington. He had an R his name, but it wasn't him because before we were in the United States, there was the states of something, and there was two guys there. I want to say it was like a Harrison or a fucking. I want to say it was a Harrison or a Robertson. It was something sudden. I know at least there was like one or two.
Well, you were very, very close. And in fact, that's what we're going to be talking about today. The pre-George Washington presidents of the United States.
Oh, shit. Okay. There's more than one? There's two?
There are a few.
Okay. Okay. See, I listened in school, kind of. Yeah. I'm like a sponge. I soak up knowledge, but be it good or bad, it all comes into play.
And I'm like a dirty sponge. I soak up beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that runoff from your boiler? Don't worry, I'll clean that shit
up. I'm going to pour myself a shot. You don't have to. I'm going to pour myself a shot.
I don't like shots.
And for those just tuning in, we here at the Two-Sided always do not force, but definitely condone any shot taking along with us. If you don't want to, you can just watch us do it on the YouTube, or you can listen to us do it on the Stereo app or on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Anchor, etc., wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, and but again, don't be forced to. But if you feel like you want to, or it could be a fun drinking game with your friends. Seriously, this is a funny show, and listen to this one. And everyone have day do a shot. See how we do. Like, that'll be fun, right? It's like trying to drink a beer with Beer Fest. Like, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. It's difficult to do with half baked. It's difficult to do with Pineapple Express. Like, it's like difficult.
Yeah, and that's the stuff we can do a lot of.
Right, but this, hopefully, we're not using any special effects or editing. This is all movie magic. Bing, bing, bing.
Cheers. Thanks for listening. Yeah, see? Second one's better. It's like waterfall.
Oh, it's good. It goes down easy. It's nice. It's good. All right, let's talk about them goddamn presidents, John.
Yeah. So you said you listened in
wrong first.
you listen in class and you heard about this. I listened in class and I definitely was never taught this. It's like our history books from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Whew, whew.
Oh no, not the history books. It was so our I had the best history teacher in the entire world in high school. Fucking Martin. His last name was Martin. Fucking Bob Martin, Robert Martin, and he was a fucking bodybuilder, like older dude, probably like late 50s, fucking ripped, and he would walk to school. So as you're driving to school for your first class, you'd see him walking on the road, this big ass dude coming from the gym, and he was a Spanish teacher and a history teacher, and he was so good at history. He'd take the junior and senior class every other year to Washington, D.C. and do a whole history tour. And you see all the sites. You go in like Boston, you hit Boston, you hit Philadelphia, you hit New York, you hit D.C. New York was awesome. New York was a day. Like you got to stop for a day. And that was kind of
see
bullshit,
the big Washington statue down on Wall Street where he gave his first inauguration. Yeah.
But then I learned, because you're on a bus the whole time, and you have like, it's like juniors and seniors, you're screwing around. It's fun, but then you realize like, all right, I'm with these guys all day long. This is the group I'm with now for 2 weeks. I'm kind of like, I don't need to sit with you, be with you, and eat with you, and sleep with you all the time. I'm going to go sit up with Mr. Martin. And it's like sitting with him on that ride when you go through like Gettysburg and there, like after that, or where you're going through, to anywhere. We went to Salem. It was like a 2 week. Yeah, it was kind of stupid. It was
really awesome.
Yeah.
Were you at a private school?
Yeah. Got to see a Walden Pond thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, man. Of course. Come on, man. Look at me. Come on, man.
See how you turned out? Obviously.
You think this is private money fucking gone wrong.
Yeah, I was at a public school in Arizona. Our field trips consisted of Desert Park and a trip to the Herberger to see a play. That was about it.
Yeah, dude, but we always had to pay for it. It was just our teachers decided they like to travel.
Yeah,
and
that's so awesome.
And so that's why that's why I started with choir. That's why I started singing, because my freshman year, I went to Greece for 10 days. And I'll go. And I wasn't even supposed to go, but someone got sick and couldn't go. I was like, yeah, I'll go. Okay. And I just had to come up with like $800 for the ticket.
For 10 days in Greece.
Yeah. And that was everything else paid for. All the tours, all the bus, everything was all paid for already. So I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. So then from there, we were going down to San Diego, like going across country with the history club. It was good. But yeah, the shit I learned from Mr. Martin on those tours was ridiculous. It was all not negative, but it was like the seedy underbelly, the true stuff.
Yeah.
And that was like
the people's history.
Right. We went to Washington Monument. Well, maybe we talked about
richest man in America.
Right? Yeah.
So the United States Declaration of Independence was adopted in 1776, and the U.S. Revolutionary War raged from 1775 to 1783. Great Britain and American representatives signed the 1783 Treaty of Paris, which formally recognized the United States of America as an independent nation. After that, the Constitution was ratified in 1789, and George Washington was inaugurated in April 30th of that year. So, who was leading the country for those first 13 years? The United States has had 14 presidents who ran the country through its first governments, the Continental Congress, which started in 1774.
14?
Yeah.
It's crazy town. Okay.
So
Okay,
the two offices, yeah.
No, I was looking because, and you're talking from 75, from 1775 to 1789.
From 74, when the Continental Congress formed, they had a president, and it was the only government that we had as a budding nation, still dependent, but trying to release our dependence from the UK. And the first president of that was, the first leader of any kind of government known as America, as the United States of America.
America.
But these offices, between that and the office of the president as we know it today, were wildly different. The president holds a significant amount of power compared to the president of Congress. However, the president of Congress was still quite instrumental in the proceedings of the United States congressional hearings. The office was also responsible for handling various state correspondence with Congress's approval and signing official documents. However, unlike the president of the U.S., under the Constitution of the president of Congress has absolutely no executive power because it was all legislative. That was all legislative. That was the one branch that we had. We didn't quite have an executive branch yet. We just had a military. And so the position was more of a ceremonial role. And people felt that political power should not be concentrated in one individual, making the position of the president of Congress almost completely powerless. It was, I'm the person that's presiding and holding this all together, but the Congress really had the votes.
Okay. Holy shit, John. I know that I tuned out probably halfway through. I was running through shit. Like, what is, I know, I kind of get it, but what you're saying, like, back then it was a figurehead role because you didn't have any true power. You were like, yeah, you're just a figurehead. Yeah. So that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Did you know that we had a constitution before 1789? We had a different constitution.
I did not know that. Did you know that I have a different constitution now than I did when I started this podcast 2 years ago?
Is it a sterner constitution?
Oh, John, I can put up with so much bullshit and I can push it back. My liver hates me. I hate you. It's a triangle of distrust, hilarity, and weekly shows.
It was called the Articles of Confederation.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, it wasn't a constitution. It was articles, man. It was like penthouse letters before we decided to really read the rest of the magazine. Like we just bought the little ones they sold in truck stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
We as a country. And then we as a country is like, you know what? Let's get a subscription to Penthouse.
Maxwell House just ain't cutting it.
Right. Welcome to 1774, bitches. We do full frontal.
So, as the name alludes, the Articles of Confederation didn't really give. It did help during the Revolutionary War to bind us together, but it didn't give the federal government enough power because it was a confederation. It was giving the states all the power.
Right. All the states, all the power, and that was the thing. Yeah, because no, I didn't see. Okay, I didn't know that was. Yeah, I knew we had that. Of course, I knew we had that. Of course, we have that. That's a thing we have.
Right.
Come on, John. Come on, John.
Well, many people think that is actually the Confederates' Constitution, which is wildly different, completely different. Well, not completely, because they're both state power, but they're two different documents, two different things, two different times, two different everything.
Right. All the circles meet the same. All circles are circles, baby. Venn diagram. There it is. Woo!
Yeah.
That was a rough ride. Thanks for sticking with us, folks. We are the two-sided, and I'm retarded. Ooh, can't say that word. I am not a shape person shifter. No, we can edit that out. Perfect. Ooh.
So one of the big pushes to create a new constitution was that it didn't give Congress any power to put down any rebellion because of its weaknesses in federal weaknesses, and also the Constitution itself said it could never be amended. Not one word could ever be added, taken away, or edited whatsoever. There's no possibility for amendments. And, obviously that in the long run could cause trouble. So the Constitutional Convention.
I don't see that, John. I don't see that happening. How could thoughts you have back in 74, 75, all the way up to maybe 1789, how could those be archaic? I think we should go back to the easier ways, John. The simpler times when gingers like you couldn't be trusted. It was a sign of weakness.
That's right.
Look at his Adam's apple.
So the Constitutional Convention was held May 25th of 1787. But again, they thought that there shouldn't be changes. And so a whole new constitution had to be created. 2 years later, it was created, ratified, finished, and that document is where George Washington became the first president of the United States under that constitution / government.
Yeah, I had the hardest time, and I still do. Like, it still plays in my mind movies when they say the Constitutional Convention, or it's the Democratic National Convention, or the Republican National Convention. I always think of like carnival barkers. Hey, step right up, diddle diddle diddle, face paint over here, and like strong man, like a carnival, like a full hey, diddle diddle, like a circus, a fair, a convention. Yeah, I don't know. It always full of Constitution. Hey, would you like a rider with that bill? Hey, don't mind if I do.
I saw Bob Dylan at one of my state conventions.
see, like what the we get together as convent. Why do we convent so much? It's almost one want to convulse. All the conventing that conventions put upon us. A break from convention, John. I refuse to go to conventions out of conviction. Don't covet me for my convictions. It's a cavernous cave one claims to conquer when one creeps into the crevice of the carousel that one thinks a constitutional crisis may come to. I don't know.
Let's call it. Okay.
Yeah, I was trailing off there. Let's thanks. Perfect.
So we're looking at the first presidents of Congress leading into that time when the articles and when that happened, they had a different name, and they could also be called the first president. So the first president of the U.S. Continental Congress was Peyton Randolph. He didn't serve a whole lot, but he was the first. September 5th of 1774 until October 22nd of that same year, because he fell ill.
Let me ask you this: were they really considered presidents, or was this as a? Yeah, because
this time it was only the president of the Continental Congress.
Right,
it does shift. Right. But that was the only governmental body we had.
Right. So if the governmental body we had, it was, but if not, of like, I didn't vote for you. You're not my queen. Just some constitutional Congress lobbed a scroll over your way, George. All of a sudden, I have to pay taxes? Oh, hell no.
So when delegates voted in Philadelphia for the first Continental Congress, they elected Peyton Randolph as the first president of the territory known as the United States.
Hey, I also elect that we also get cheesesteaks for lunch when we go on break. Because that Randolph guy, he turned me on to those Phillies. They are amazing. Also, we're going to call them Phillies. We should ratify that. You guys with me? Oh, you will. After you taste the whiz in these mothers, I tell you what. We'll ratify it. You'll. Oh, okay.
So he was a Virginian, like our boy George, but he fell ill, and almost immediately Henry Middleton of South Carolina succeeded him, only for a month. October of 1774. He wasn't great. He got out real quick, and they just didn't have a president until Randolph came back, and he was there.
Guess who's back, baby? It's Randolph. Fuck yeah! Is that Randolph? I heard he was down. I heard he was out. I heard you can't fuck with Randolph. Fuck around and find out, baby. It's Randolph. Part 2.
Again elected president of Congress in 1775, but Randolph left for Virginia 4 days later and was succeeded by as president by John Hancock. We all know John Hancock.
Randolph. Where are you going, Randolph? Oh shit! I'm off to Virginia, bitches.
So he came back. Did not dispute Hancock being president, but he returned as a Virginia delegate. But then he suffered a 5-hour-long fit of apoplexy and died while dining with Thomas Jefferson. That's why I was wondering why you thought he was the worst, because he died in the house of Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia on October 22nd, 1775.
I'm saying, when you kill off your competition like that, oh, it was apoplexy.
Yeah.
No one will suspect poison. No one looks for the slight petechiation of the eyeballs.
And with things happening like that, and his health not being great, he really could have just been murdered. And Jefferson was like, he suffered from apoplexy. 5 hours. It was very gruesome. That's why there's blood all over him. And those holes. It's fine.
It looks like cigar burns. They're not. That's apoplexy if I've ever seen it. Trust me. I know a doctor.
So the third president of this Continental Congress was the rebel leader and merchant John Hancock. He also served as the first and third governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He is remembered for his large and stylish signature on the Declaration of Independence, so much that John Hancock is synonymous with a signature.
Well, he was wearing these little tiny hats. You couldn't even see him in the picture. He thought that was what he was going to be known for. The John Hancock, the tiny little bowler. It was like a yarmulke, but it was a bowler. So he was like trying to bring all the cultures together. Very, very out front of his time, ahead, avant-garde, one would say. But it didn't catch on, so he had to go with the signature. One does with what one has.
So, just pushing through another name. So Henry Lawrence was after him. John Jay was after him. Samuel Huntington was after him. Then came the Articles of Confederation, the first constitution used by the United States, which was adopted March 1st of 1781. And this is when a lot of people see as the initial formation of America and its governments, of the U.S. and its governments.
Okay.
Under this, these articles, the president could only serve one term. Previously, there were articles that said senators, the Congress could only serve not one term, 1 year, 1 year term.
Well, we're really pushing for. We're going to go the Randolph route, so we can only work 4 days at a time. We're constantly in elections, 4 days in, 4 days out. It's a tag team for presidencies.
Right. Before that point, there were, Hancock and others served 3 years. They could do that. That was the standard term of a senator, and so or a congressman, because they were part of the Congress, they had the standard 3. But these Articles of Confederation limited them to 1 year. So Samuel Huntington, remember how you were saying like a ton, something?
Yeah, a ton.
Was the person who transitioned into the president of the United States.
Okay. See? There's a ton. Tons of ideas up here, John. Tons more shots to be drinking with you over here, John.
The official title was President of the United States in Congress Assembled. But he became ill in July, having only taken this office in March of 1781.
Full title. I like full titles, John. If we could change our titles to, I'm going to change my title. Lord and Savior, my boy P. Co-host of the Two-Sided Pod. See, John, I said co-host.
That's right. Yeah. He didn't die. He actually did come back to serve as president from 1779 to 81. And he was also Chief Justice of Connecticut Supreme Court from 84 to 85, and the 18th governor of Connecticut until his death in 1786. So pretty substantial influence over our early governments.
Yeah, but even in 1786, when he was dying, he's like, I'm just sick. I'm going to come back and be the president of Iran. It's not even a country, but I'm going to found it. And everyone's like, oh, no, he's not dead. He's going to Lazarus up and at least be a city councilman, something. No.
So because of his sickness that first term, Thomas McKean replaced him, but only finished his term. So he didn't fulfill a full term. The person who fulfilled a first term with the title of President of the United States was John Hanson.
John Hanson.
He got a full year, baby.
Nice. So good we named juice after him.
John Juice?
Oh, that's when you drink out of the toilet like a dog, you idiot. Hanson's. Delicious.
One contributing factor that he did was he said that the holiday of Thanksgiving should be on the fourth Thursday of November, thus creating that tradition until it was amended in the 20th century to be the last Thursday in the month of November.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Gotta love capitalism.
Right? It supersedes anything Hanson's can pull with us. All the good things they've done, except for their juices.
Yeah. So the Confederation Congress also elected a chairman to facilitate proceedings and perform ceremonial functions when the president was unable to serve. They were virtually the same, and it's now considered kind of like the vice president to the president, even though they didn't have that term back then. That's how Thomas McKean got his couple months in the sunlight.
Oh yeah, once someone goes down, you gotta. It's like your backup. You're oh my god! Wow, I'm blanking out. Oh, when you're the understudy in a play, when you're like, I may not get to go on, but when I do, I'm gonna fucking kill it. Not right. Literally. Oh shit! I hope I didn't jinx myself. 4 days later,
you're going on. I haven't had a rehearsal yet. Too bad. No script in hand. Okay, so under these Articles of Confederation, more presidents came and went. Remember, 1 year each. Elias Boudinot, or Boudinot, Thomas Mifflin, from Dunder Mifflin, obviously.
Yeah.
Richard Henry Lee, made famous in the musical 1776 of the Virginia Lees.
Oh, yeah.
Same guy. And also okay. John Hancock. John Hancock served both as previously the president of the Continental Congress and the president of the United States under the Congress Assembled. So he got both.
Right, but his little hats never took off. Like, no one knows me for my presidencies. No one knows me for my hats. I'm just a signature man now. Oof.
I'm just ink on a page.
Yeah, sad Hancock life.
Nathaniel Gorham, Arthur St. Clair, and finally Cyrus Griffin all served as President of the United States in Congress assembled.
No. I'm 99% sure Cyrus Griffin was the villain in probably Ultimate Soldier. No, just Cyrus Griffin. No, that Face Off. That was Cyrus the Virus. No, nope. That was in Con Air. Shit, Cyrus Griffin. If not, I'm writing that one down. That's going to be a new villain name.
Cyrus Griffin, the last president under the Articles of Confederation. So that was 1778 when the new Constitution was ratified and led into the election of the first president under the new Constitution. He resigned when it was ratified. He said, all right, that old government is gone. It has been replaced by the new Constitution with the three-pronged government, the checks and balances, everything we know today. So I'll resign early to help with a peaceful exchange of power. Afterward, he served as a United States federal judge.
All right, but I want to recount on if that's ratified. I'm not gonna concede. Be like, you know what? I've already lost my hats. I don't want to lose my signature too. Step down politely. But it's a fix. Rigged.
So that's basically it. But I want to say I was doing the research for this, it was kind of weird because a lot of pages, so the Constitutional Convention, or Constitutional Convention was held in secret. It was presided over by Washington with an iron fist and secured his being a more powerful leader of the fledgling and changing U.S. government. But others say it was fully legitimized by several past presidents presiding on the Constitution and signing what we now know as the U.S. Constitution. Several of the names I just said, and also Ben Franklin. But the site said, but it almost killed him for lack of air conditioning. I was like, what are you? It made it legitimate, but therefore we almost killed Ben Franklin, the most beloved president ever.
Oh man, that's yeah, that's some shit. Well, you have to keep the conventions a secret because there's only so many ponies, and you can't, if you have a bunch of people there that know the lines are so long for the pony rides. And it's like, I think of pony rides first before we get down to voting. So you guys giddy up, buckaroos, and then let's get to a vote.
Good.
Convention style.
So what do you think about that, man?
I think that's some bullshit, John. I think I think we nailed it. I think 1 year is good enough. We don't get anything accomplished. You don't anyway.
And nothing shall be changed from here forth.
Right? None shall pass. And that's the way we like it. We love it. We ain't going to change it. Oh, sure. Not today, not tomorrow. I don't want to, and I'm not gonna. John? John, I'll tell you what. You got shit ton of messages.
John and Peter, John, it's two-sided podcast. John and Peter, John, the two-sided podcast.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nothing with you, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to hear from you.
As always.
All I need to say is all circles have jerks in them.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There's a jerk eating that cracker out of that circle.
them jerks out. Rub them out. Rub them out.
Right up, step right up.
See?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the new party. 52nd annual convention. If you'll please open your penthouse magazines to the 52nd page on the third ledger, column D7, we are opening a new way, a new road.
So tragic, so true. So tragic, so true.
Don't fuck yourself, incredibly but respectfully, and vote for proxy. Don't worry what it says, but just fucking vote for it. Open them goddamn print magazine. I can't even put these handles in these names. Last one. I swear to God, if you don't do proxy this Sunday, and on the show, nobody in this room ever seen Nobody voted for my proxy. Where shall I go?
Fucking sound effects. John, how come you can't do sound effects like yours? I don't even know what's happening. That's so good.
Can I tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me.
Let me tell y'all one time for the one time. Real few. Play me out. Play me out, King John. Play me out.
Yeah, man, my man. Abracadabra. We're trying to get popular when we get sued. Continue to play all music yourself. That was a good run.
Oh, yeah.
Whew. John, we made it through. I feel like we deserve a shot. I feel like everyone deserves to take a shot with us. I feel like everyone should probably pack a bowl, pack a shot. Whew.
Y'all did good. Good job. Good job.
Look deeply. Yeah, no, it was a rough go for me. But that was a rough one.
But we had
Hey,
zero expectation, and therefore you exceeded everything.
Hey, I think that's kind of what I established when I began this whole process, John, is zero expectation, and I always exceed, mostly. Hey, you failed, and we are all dumber for having listened to you. Okie dokie. So I did not achieve being zero? No, you are a negative. Okay. Okay, well, thank you. I'll fix it. I'll be zero next week. Cheers, buddy. Ooh.
So just checking out the YouTube. We got a lot of people giving a lot of love. Spondy, Tammy, Joey.
Joey!
Mugs. Thanks, everybody.
Because this is their, just folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And this is one time anyone is it live chat? Is it live just to us, or is it live on the thing? Can everyone see?
They can all see each other. Yeah. If you're on YouTube now, you can. Once it repeat reviews.
Yeah, you can. Right. So anyone who's on now, go ahead, and we're looking for a good splash screen for our cover, so we're not like it's not like the generic two-sided art we see on all of our bullshit that you see before. Everything Stereo does. Thank you, Stereo Gods. You're the reason we're here.
Love you, Stereo Gods. Really mean it.
Right. It's like my Earth parents. You got to say you love them. You don't really mean it.
And then say, please don't hit me again.
Yes, sir. May I have another? Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Julie, my girl Foxy Lady, Spawny. Cheers. Gilbert. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Spondy's saying we're succeeding 100% of the time, 20% of the time. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm saying. That's a great. You got to fool. Can't fool all the people all the time, but you can fool some of the people some of the time. But you can fool most of the people most of the time, and none of the people all the time. And I think those numbers stack up to a pretty sufficient go of it. Like, I'll run those odds. I'll lie. I think I can fool. I think you're mostly always, sometimes, never, mainly gonna be fooled. But you could also, you have just an easier time of maybe not, also, always, every time, never, mainly finding out of mine. So roll the dice, baby. Let's play the game.
It's like my brother used to say, it's either upstairs or it's downstairs.
Hey, man, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. Well, shit, let's get hammered and let's nail it, baby. Woo!
We got one more message and we're moving on.
Hello, all you amazing peoples. How are you doing? I am. Well, let's go to the next subject. What's going on? Glad to see you. Glad you're all here. Oh my God, John Pete. I was very, very unaware of our last visits because, well, shit got deep in the foxhole, let me just say. Anywho, glad we're hanging on a new leaf and everything's looking up.
Good.
Yay, whoop whoop.
Good.
Hello, everybody.
Good. Hey, every day's a new day, baby.
That's right.
If you don't like the day you're having, just have a few shots, go lay down, play Tetris on your phone, go to sleep. It'll be a new day when you wake up, I promise.
Even if it's midnight.
Right. Or if you're diabetic, eat a bag of Oreos, go into a diabetic coma, wake up in 2 days, it'll be fine. Days change, man. Days change.
Well, speaking of constant change, we're going to go into our next lightning round.
I'm realizing it doesn't work because the microphone's right in our heads. That's right. Oh, God. Oh, that's funny as shit. I got to plan that better. That makes me laugh so hard. Oh, my God.
Well, we're just going to keep moving.
What are you guys talking about? Nothing, man. Just figured out the head movement doesn't work to fool them into think that you're really here. Oh, man. You mean I'm the pigment of y'all's imagination? I think you mean figment. No, I meant pigment. Look at him. He's pale. All right, folks, I'll be back in the closet.
Well, anybody. Wait, no, that's not the word. Oh, man, I got lightning round guy.
See, he gets here every time, bro. Even with fucking microphone issues, it's dumb as shit. I don't know, man. I'm thinking spin-off episodes. I'm thinking Christmas albums. Thinking calendars. What are y'all talking about monetizing me? Nope.
No. Go away. Get back in the closet.
Oh my God. Oh.
This lightning round segment is one of your favorites and mine. That's right. It's the Negative Nelly. The Negative Nelly.
Apparently you don't know our audience because none of them really like this shit, John. Let's get to it. You think I don't know what I'm doing here?
Negative My Boy Pete, are you ready?
I guess.
Well, I'm going to start with this. Negative My Boy Pete, I think this episode of recording is going well.
Not sure what you mean by that. You mean technically? You mean entertainment-wise? You mean jokes? You mean timing? Because if you meant any of those, I would say I disagree. If you meant drinking heavily and looking stupid on camera, nailing
it. Negative My Boy Pete, I heard you were really tearing it up at work this week.
No, tearing it up. Yeah, you should have seen all those leftovers when I was done with them.
Negative My Boy Pete, I'm really nostalgic for the music of Woodstock. I think it's the best music ever.
Yeah, especially if you like patchouli, slow, wandering melodies, talking about times that never were and never could be again. It really brings back a nostalgia of college when I learned something to be better than that.
Boy, Negative My Boy Pete, I really love that first album by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Deja Vu.
Yeah, it's like I remember listening to it before and it was still shit. And I listened to it again. Yep. If you're not Crosby, Stills, Nash, I don't give a crap about Young. You need to be on your way.
You were concise. You were in it. You didn't need any instructions. I think that was one of our fastest lightning rounds ever.
Thank you. I was focused on that. I knew my job. I knew my boundaries. I knew the specifics of what we were doing. You see, John, I don't have a learning disability. I'm very smart, but I don't like to creatively. That's why I can't paint. That's why I can't. Like if you someone go on stage, like, do you have something prepared? No. All right, well, just do something. Give me a canvas. Give me a thing. I need an idea from the audience because it's hard to. Here's the parameters. Here's the baselines.
Restrictions and boundaries. You just you hone in.
I think most people do if they know how to skirt, bend, respect, yet totally disregard any sets of rules and or boundaries that one's superiors or the state of California or state of whatever union John might have been talking about, whatever convention we might be going to. Beyond that, John, let's do a shot. Oh my God.
Let's do a shot. I love that so many words dealing with the early United States have C's, like Constitutional Congress, Convention, Confederation,
cryptocurrency,
Connecticut,
right? Count Chocula, bro. It was a huge hit of the Continental Convention. Is there going to be a continental breakfast at the Continental Convention? Yep, Count Chocula is making it a country morning. Shit. I need to. It's hard to use all C's without going to the fucking hard one. I'm a gentleman and a scholar, and I will not go there.
Well, speaking of a hard one, here's to you. Cheers.
Yeah, don't be a cunt about it. Cheers, buddy. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's the deal, John. That was good. No, that was good. What's your next thing? Should I look? No. Yeah,
Well, Spondy on our YouTube said, please do not talk bad about CSN&Y. Please. And actually, we're going to give the segment to them. Today we're going to talk about Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh, awesome. We are one people. We are two, three together. We are love. That's not them, but I think of them every time I hear that. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is.
That's because, like, yeah, do some Crosby. And anytime it goes, someone goes to the jukebox, like, what'd you play? Crosby, Stills, Nash. Like, oh, did you play that one song? Which one? You know, the one like that. No, like, okay, all right, fair enough.
No, I played Ohio, man. I played Ohio.
Hum a few bars and I'll be able to dance to it.
That's right. Do you know Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young? No, but if you hum a few bars, I'll be good.
Yeah, I'll pick it up as I go, buddy. Is that different? Did you Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young? Ah, yes, the hidden chapters of the Kama Sutra. I know that one.
So recently on the Two-Sided, we talked about Fleetwood Mac. And it was kind of crazy because a week after I did all my research and was looking at the current setup.
Can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
you
there?
Totally went blank. Yeah,
okay.
You went totally. Anyway, keep going.
So right after we aired that, we recorded that, Christine McVie died suddenly. She had tour dates. She had both with Fleetwood Mac and with Lindsey Buckingham, who had been recently fired, as we talked about in the show. And I was like, that's crazy. So with the recent death of Crosby, I figured, you know what, let's talk about them, because another iconic band of American rock history.
Oh, yeah. No. Super good. Are you, yeah, when you can't believe Bing Crosby lives all these years. That's crazy. And he played with Neil Young. That's about right age-wise, but shit, man.
So this was a folk rock supergroup, originally Crosby, Stills, and Nash, made up of American singer-songwriter David Crosby and Stephen Stills, with English singer-songwriter Graham Nash. When they were joined by Canadian singer-songwriter Neil Young as the fourth member, they were called Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, many times referred to CSN&Y. They are noted for their intricate vocal harmonies and lasting influence on American music and culture, as well as their political activism and often insane interpersonal relationships, very tumultuous.
CSN&Y, NYC, dun, dun, dun. We're going to get them. We're going to get them back to the show. CSNY, LA. It's amazing, John. I love it when you speak in acronyms, baby. You know what gets me going.
Oh, you love them. You love them. So Crosby, Stills, Nash, CSN, was formed in 1968 after they performed together in July of that year, discovering they harmonized real well. So Crosby had been asked to leave the Byrds, which he formed in late 67. Stills' band Buffalo Springfield broke up in 68, and Nash left his band, the Hollies, in December. The trio signed a recording contract with Atlantic Records in 69, and their first album, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, produced 2 top 40 hits, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes and Marrakesh Express.
You're good, man. Time is right. Leave your past life, go on, you're good. But that was when there was so much music around. There were so many bands and so many, like, it'd be hard to do that nowadays, I think. It was super hard. Just leave a band that's known and become a super group. And they did so much, people did so much of that. Like Clapton and.
I always think of the Wilbury Brothers.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Traveling Wilburys. Traveling Wilburys.
Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah. So in preparation for touring and wanting to hire a keyboard player, Stills initially approached Steve Winwood, who was already occupied with the newly formed Blind Faith. So they suggested the former Buffalo Springfield member Neil Young. Though principally a guitarist, Young was proficient keyboardist and could alternate on the instrument with Stills and Nash in live context. They brought on Young along with touring members Dallas Taylor on drums and Greg Reeves on bass. The band, second time performing as the newly formed Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, played Woodstock, the Woodstock Festival that August. But they debuted 2 days earlier with Joni Mitchell opening up for them at Chicago's Auditorium Theater.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, right?
Crazy. It was because they had so much cred. Because they were the super group, because they were that well known.
And as the trio, they had already been known from their first album, which had some success already. And so it was like, yeah, of course you're going to play Woodstock. And Young comes on, they're like, well, we already know him through Buffalo Springfield. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's just their first time. Like, okay, ready, guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So when Neil Young joined the band, the terms of the contract allowed him full freedom to maintain a parallel career with his new band, Crazy Horse, which he still has today. Regarding their addition of Young, quote, "We may shape the album," Stills said, "but Neil'll come along and give us that extra thing." Nash added, "Neil's a strange energy. He brings a darker edge and a more realistic edge to our music. It did fit, though. Deja Vu is a pretty fun album." Anyway.
Yeah, it is. Didn't we just talk about this album? No.
Deja Vu? No, we talked about Rumors from Fleetwood Mac.
Weird. I had a weird sense that we did.
Hey, did you just see a cat? Never mind.
There's a glitch in your Crosby, Stills. My Nash and Young are fine.
So they were one of the few North American groups that rivaled the Beatles in popularity in late 1960s and early 1970s. After the 1970 shooting at Kent State University in Ohio, Neil Young wrote "Ohio," a tribute to the 4 students who were shot dead by the Ohio State National Guard. Many radio stations would not play the song because of the anti-war tone. Even so, it largely because of its topical nature, Ohio bumped "Teach Your Children," released 3 weeks earlier, from its ascent in the charts, replacing it on the popularity climb, ending up at number 14, while "Teach Your Children" ended up at number 16.
You gotta teach them well.
Lead the way. That's not the song. Anyway, May 4th of 70 was the shooting. May 14th of the same
10
year,
days later,
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young released the single "Ohio." It was written over the weekend, recorded immediately after, and 10 days later, it was on the radio waves.
Whew. That's crazy. Well, I mean, it's like how people unpack emotional trauma events, even if you're not there, it affects everyone, things like that. So they're so fucking tragic. And we whitewash so much, but we don't think so much. We don't think about it. And so you need to have some kind of historical record that has to be the tragic couple photographs that we know, like that are burned into our memories, or the songs, or the different things that we have to, have those so they do stay with us. Otherwise, we lose our place in time.
Yeah.
We turn out, and then we get bands like Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama, Neil Young,
which was a response to Southern Man. from
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was the first rap battle.
Yeah. Before it was just poets and essayists writing back and forth. Dear sir. But Alice Cooper, our good buddy, Arizona native Alice Cooper, interviewed the members and collected their recollections about the incidents and subsequent artistic choices they made during the time of national grief and confusion. So these are some quotes from Cooper and then quotes from the members themselves. David Crosby and Neil Young were together in the days following the shootings, and they were both distraught over senseless killings and found themselves discussing, arguing, and replaying the tragic events until Young took a guitar and sat alone and composed Ohio. The song, which was recorded right away, was rush-released only 10 days after the shootings. Graham says, quote, "We put Ohio out in 10 days with 45 with a 45 with the picture sleeve cover of the Constitution with 4 bullet holes in it, and we killed our own single." Crosby, "We had Teach Your Children halfway up the charts going for #1, and Nash pulled it, and that's what caused Ohio to suddenly go past Teach Your Children in the charts." Nash, do you think our managers were happy? Do you think our record company was happy? I don't think so. But y'all know what? They let us do what we want. They realize we are a different kind of band. For me, bringing out the point of Ohio and the slaughter of our students with their God-given constitutional rights to address grievances of their government, that was more important than me having a hit with my song.
Fucking A. Goddamn, Nash.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that he pulled his Teach Your Children from the.
He just stopped letting it be played at the on the radio, and only through Ohio, and that's why people bought it, and that's why it rose the ranks. Yeah,
right. Because no one, it stopped being daily, every hour, on the hour. All right, folks, and you know what time it is. Wolfman Jack here. Baby and Bird, back in a moment. But before we go, we're going to play you some Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Teach Your Children. All
right. Last one. Crosby recalled a trip to the Kent University's campus in memorial to the students. Quote, "We went back to Kent State not long ago to the site where those guardsmen murdered those 4 kids, and the looks on the faces of parents and people there and students who were there when it happened, parents and kids that it happened to, when we stood there and sang Ohio, I got a great job. I got a great thing to do in my life, and if I have to do it in public, then I have to do it in public." End quote.
Oh shit! They went and sung on campus. Wow, I didn't know that. Is there a recording of that?
I don't know. I actually learned that from the Alice Cooper interviews.
Wow. Oof.
So, dubbed the American Beatles, which is somewhat ironic because Crosby, Stills, and Nash unsuccessfully auditioned for the Beatles at Apple Studios. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young's songs told tales of past lovers, political unrest, and rocky road ahead, often while battling inter-band discord on their quest for pure vocal harmony.
That's a band, bro.
Yeah.
If there's not turmoil in a band, that's weird. You're part of a religion, and you must be branded if you're going to stay on this bus. There must be turmoil before we get another step further. If we're a band.
So
religion, peace and brands, turmoil and bands. You guys make the call when you get on this bus. Pick up an instrument or pick up a robe. Then you make your decision on which way you want to turn. You're going to fight in the back or get branded in the front.
We're all about
Boundaries,
C
John.
words here.
We give it options. These are the limits that one must abide by to get on this bus. See? Just saying.
Other incredible songs from the band Deja Vu, the title track of their first album, together, all four. Helpless. Our House is a very, very, very fine house. Was written by Nash.
Hopelessly, hoping my something harlequin lover, she peacefully rolls joints, even though time is so short, and I can't believe timing is always say goodbye. Hi. We are one people. Oh God, I love that band. They're so great. Crosby, Stills, and yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, the young one. Crosby, Stills.
Sure, turn it off. Yeah, we are two together.
MPKP. Yeah, I know. Okay, so
we are two-sided. We are one person. We are two-sided. We're 3 shots deep now. Maybe 4.
So Our House was co-written by Nash with Joni Mitchell because as they lived together in Laurel Canyon as then lovers.
We lived together in Laurel Canyon as lovers. Lovely, lovely Joni. Flip that the other way to now.
Doesn't that sound like a perfect? I mean, then she released Ladies of the Canyon, so it was all blending together.
Yeah, lovers in Laurel Canyon.
That's right.
It's almost laughable.
Carry on, and then the cover of Joni Mitchell's song Woodstock. This song, written by Joni, directly after the iconic concert festival, which she was not allowed to attend because she had a Dick Cavett appearance the next day, was released by her, CSN&Y, and 2 other musical groups all in the same year, all to critical and commercial acclaim. 1970. The version on Deja Vu was released first, a month before Mitchell's version in her album Ladies of the Canyon. After that, Matthew's Southern Comfort released it, and the Assembled Multitude released an instrumental version. 4 albums, 4 groups, 1 song, 1 year. All had major showings in the billboards, but the CSN&Y cover was the most commercially successful and is considered the most recognized version.
4 bands, 4 covers. 4 years, 1 song, 1 house. What a very, very, very fine house, John.
We have to get back to the garden.
Did we just do a cover?
We did something.
Yeah. Yes, we did. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been not even half of what we're about to do. John, make a drink. John's going to see if there's any action on the message boards. We're going to do a shot. John's going to finish up with the CSI&Y Miami. I'm going to talk about the Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Jose Quavo 8 on our YouTubes says glitch in the matrix, and we appreciate all of it. Thanks for listening and watching, brother.
Yes, my man. Yes.
So, some fun facts. Grateful Dead guitarist Jerry Garcia played pedal steel guitar on Teach Your Children, the song that they pulled. And former Lovin' Spoonful leader John Sebastian plays harmonica on the title track Deja Vu.
See, it's back in those days when you like everybody knew everybody, and you go like, yeah, I bet you got paid. I bet you got something. You weren't. It wasn't the same thing as like, I don't know. You're around musicians more. You were always playing together. Like, oh, I'll record. You sure? Give me a little cut of this. Give me a little on the back end.
So their 1971 double album, Four-Way Street, also topped the U.S. charts for 42 weeks. Deja Vu was 94 weeks, I believe. For some reason, I didn't put that down, but I remember reading it.
I've seen more weeks than that, John. I did a nipple in Lombok. Nope, that was a nickel in Lombok.
Thanks for the time, Warden. So in the early 70s, each member released solo albums, and by 1972, the band had essentially split up. Nash and Crosby began performing as a duo and recorded and toured as Crosby and Nash, or Crosby-Nash. In 74, CSN&Y reunion, a 1974 CSN&Y reunion was a massive success. The tour was amazing. But attempts to make a second another CSN&Y album ended with another split and separate albums from Crosby and Nash and the Stills Young Band, both in 1976. After the falling out between Stills and Young, CSN reformed and released more albums and was the primary configuration going forward. Young was basically just essentially out.
Bro, my thing, I feel about music for musicians like I do about actors. Like, I don't care what your weird personal life is, of what, like, you could be a horrible person, you do horrible shit, you are in jail now, you're whatever happened, you are whatever, but your music is amazing. Your movies, you're a horrible person in life, your opinions are bullshit, but your movies are amazing. I'm not going to stop watching, enjoying good art because of your choices. John, if that happened, no one would be watching the Two-Sided Pod. I'm a realist, John. You make bad choices, and you bring us down. Wait.
So you were able to separate the art from the artist, is what you're saying?
Oh, 100%. 100%. You don't like... Remember back in the day when you had to go buy weed, like behind liquor stores and gas stations and weird places?
Oh, yeah.
And like... And I didn't like what I had to do to get there, but okay. It was the end result. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
there's a lot of love for Neil Young coming up through the Spondy. So I want to throw that out because they did.
John loves Neil Young. John's been to see Neil Young.
With Crazy Horse, yeah.
Yeah.
It was an amazing show. I didn't realize how much of a jam band they were live.
See, the thing is, okay, here's the deal. I like Neil Young. I'm not a big fan of Neil Young. I don't like his voice. John showed me Neil Young, Bob Marley,
Creedence Clearwater,
the Beatles, pretty much, kind of the Beatles, yeah. So, I mean, I'd heard them, but no one made me listen to shit. I knew all the active rock bands and like NWA and rap, things from that, moving up, like, okay, I don't know anything about this. Oh my God, this is amazing. Holy shit, harmony? Simon and Garfunkel? What the fuck?
All right.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're busting my balls, Cecilia.
So they didn't perform again until Live Aid in Philadelphia in 1985. Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Oh, shit. Randolph would be great. Hey, you guys, after we fucking ratify this, let's go get some Philly cheesesteaks and watch Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. They're at Live Aid down the block. It'll be brilliant.
I don't know. You're looking a little sickly there, Peyton Randolph.
All right. I'll be back in 4 days. Don't worry about me.
I'm going to go have this dinner with Thomas Jefferson. It'll be fine.
Things will be fine. 4 hours later.
So Crosby, Stills, and Nash were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in '97. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young is the first band to have all of its members inducted into the Hall of Fame twice. Young was not inducted with them, but previously was inducted for Buffalo Springfield and then also his solo work. I have the dates. I don't need to go through them, but if you want them, I got them.
No. So they did
So
that.
I won't do dates. I'll just say Crosby was all of them except for Young were Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Crosby was the Byrds, Buffalo Springfield for Stills, and Nash was the Hollies, right?
Yeah, the Hollies. That's right.
Super bands, right?
That's right. I always forget about the Hollies. I need to put that down. I'll put that on my list and listen. I'll listen tomorrow. Okay.
Through their several incarnations, they released 8 studio albums, 5 live albums, and 22 singles.
You should hear their outtakes, John. Ridiculous. Very slapstick. Highly recommend them if you can get your hands on them. Black market shit. We call it B-sides from across the pond.
In the past couple years, Crosby, along with entrepreneur and longtime friend Stephen Sponder, announced he was seeking to license his name to a leading national cannabis company. Quote, the quote Mighty Cross brand has been geared to cannabis connoisseurs. It happened. It went through and is still around today. David Crosby died on January 19th of 2023 at the age of 81, quite suddenly.
Hey, John, let's rethink that last sentence. He died at the age of 81 quite suddenly.
Actually, it is quite unexpectedly from the public. That's what really happened.
Dude, I was surprised that he died at 81. I was thinking 82 at least. He was out of the blue for 82, not so much. 81, not as fun. That's what we say in the industry. John, do you want to get to 82? Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here. Do you want to live to 82? Do you want to live to 82? Fucking 82? Have you seen an 82-year-old? Have you been around them? I'm not an ageist. I love them. But do you want to be one? I do not. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you very much. Give me a good 60. 65 tops, bro. No. No. Bye. I'll record enough audio that you can play this goddamn show once a week for the next 17 goddamn years, John. I check out at 67. Fuck your couch. I'm out.
What gives me hope is the old man in the movie Waiting, when the waiter, Ryan Reynolds, comes up on him and says, "Hey, how you doing today?" He's like, "Well, I'm slowly slipping into senility." And Reynolds is like,
Right.
"You're cool, man. I don't care if you don't tip me a dime. I'm helping you out."
Yeah. You get your tea. Here's your tea.
Yeah.
That was what's his face. That was a Saturday Night Live guy. Yeah. What's he been in? Barry.
Jason, no, that's Ted Lasso. Yeah, him. Yeah, buddy.
There you go. Barry. Betty. Hey, Betty. Betty.
Anyway, let's move on.
Moving on. Folks, if you follow me, watch my hand, we're going to move on now to the left, and John's going to tell us about the next exhibit in front of us. Stay close. All the stragglers in the back, listen up. No talking. John's about to start. John, you were saying.
So David Crosby had a very active Twitter account and even tweeted the day he died about heaven.
My mom would love that. She would love that.
Quote, I heard the place is overrated, ... cloudy, end quote, end tweet.
My mom would love that. He knew the angels were calling him. He had a dark sense of humor. Yeah. He's a religious man. Man, my last would have been cough, cough.
Whatever they tell you, it's a lie.
Gasp. The weapon that kills me can be found in...
Get to the castle. Wah.
Must get to the castle. Wah. But how do we get there?
So Graham Nash wrote a tribute to his estranged former bandmate that day. Quote, it is with a deep and profound sadness that I learned that my friend David Crosby has passed, Nash wrote. I know people tend to focus on how volatile our relationship has been at times, but what has always mattered to David and me more than anything was the pure joy of the music we created together, the sound we discovered with one another, and the deep friendship we shared over all these many long years. David was fearless in life and music, Nash continued. He leaves behind a tremendous void as far as sheer personality and talent in this world. He spoke his mind, his heart, and his passion through his beautiful music and leaves an incredible legacy. These are the things that matter most. My heart is truly with his wife, Jan, his son, Django, and all the people he has touched in the world. This world.
Django. What was his... He has some good... There was one... Fucking his solo album. I bought the fucking tape. Was it a tape? It might have been a CD, but it was a single of his fucking solo album. What was it?
Will you check that out? I'm gonna just continue.
Yeah.
So the impending death didn't seem to come as much of a surprise to Crosby himself, because as 8 months ago, he announced he was done performing live, saying, quote, I've been making records for at a startling rate. Now I'm 80 years old and I'm going to die fairly soon. That's how that works. And so I'm trying really hard to crank out as much music as I possibly can, as long as it's really good. I have another one in the can waiting, end quote.
See, that's, man, when you're an artist, you know what's coming. It was just like Norm Macdonald when he went in the night before he went in for cancer treatment. He sat down by himself with 2 Zoom cameras or 3 Zoom cameras around him, and just went off the cuff. Like all these things in my head, I just want to get them out. It was just, I don't have time. And just, this is like a workshop of things I've thought about, things I'm and it's all over the board.
It was
man.
a set. It was an amazing new setup. 100% material he'd never done before. Like he was going to go on tour. He's like, I want to get this out, but if the surgery doesn't go so great, at least I got this. Yeah, that's a true artist right there. Like let's get. If I can't get what I want, which is stand up, which is the live audience, the interaction with these words, with these jokes, at least I got this.
Right, exactly.
Wrote stills across a series of tweets. Quote, I read a quote in this morning's paper attributed to composer Gustav Mahler that stopped me for a moment. Death has on placid cat's paws entered the room. I should have known something was up. David and I butted heads a lot over time, but they were mostly glancing blows, yet still left us numb skulls. Stills continued, I was happy to be at peace with him. He was without a question a giant of a musician, and his harmonic sensibilities were nothing short of genius. The glue that held us together as our vocals soared, like Icarus towards the sun. I am deeply saddened at his passing and shall miss him beyond measure. End quote.
That's, yeah. He was a good musician. It was a duet. Yeah. There we go. It was
Well, obviously, I got one last person. So Neil Young. Hero.
Phil Collins.
Oh, right.
Ooh, so good. I love that one. Love that one.
He created the Bird. So you could go before Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. You could go after, and he was always doing stuff, right?
Just great. Just always hammering shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, Neil Young shared his thoughts. That it was Wednesday, 3 days later, in a post on his website. Quote: David is gone, but his music lives on. The soul of CSN&Y, David's voice and energy were at the heart of our band. His great songs stood for what we believed in, and it was always fun and exciting when we got to play together. Almost Cut My Hair, Deja Vu, and so many other great songs he wrote were wonderful to jam on, and Stills and I had a blast as he kept us going on and on. His singing with Graham was so memorable, their duo spot a highlight of so many of our shows. We had so many great times, especially in the early years. Crosby was a very supportive friend in my early life as we bit off big pieces of our experience together. David was a catalyst of so many things. My heart goes out to Jan and Django, his wife and son. Love,
Django.
Lots of love to you. Thanks, David, for your spirit and songs. Love you, man. I remember the best times. End quote.
See, that's cool. That's someone trying to make amends for their own soul. I remember the best times. Yeah, you're getting ahead of the story. When Django comes of age and he writes his memoirs, Django.
Well, Young and Crosby had become estranged after Crosby was critical of Young's relationship with then-girlfriend, future wife, Daryl Hannah, in a 1914 interview. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young last played together as a quartet at Bridge School Benefit in 2013, and the final performance by Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Wait a minute. I'm going to stop you before I lose my train of thought on this one. You're telling me that Daryl Hannah was the Yoko Ono for Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
No, he was just critical of her long after they broke up. This is like 30 years after. He just threw out some like flippant stuff about her, and Nash and Young was like, "What are you doing, brah?"
But you said his future wife. You said he talked about his future wife.
At the time of the interview, it was his girlfriend.
All
they
right,
got married. They're still together, right?
No, that is what I'm saying to you. So she was the girlfriend who
in 2014. This interview was 2014. They broke up in 72.
Okay, but
yeah,
that was her chance. That was her chance for reunion. Yeah, totally. Because she would have been a baby back then. That would have been really weird.
So that's why the four of them only played together to 2013. Young was like, "I'm done," and Crosby, Stills, and Nash as a trio was at the National Christmas Tree Lighting in 2015, and that was their final appearance together. So the history of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young is chronicled in a recently released book, CS&Y, Love the One You're With. It was announced last year and came out the same month David Crosby died, just last month.
Love the one you're with. CSN&Y, CSNBC. I just... Go ahead.
All right, that's it. We're done with CSN&Y.
See, but I know that Young, like it's an integral part, but to me, it was always Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
He was
Right.
only that short amount of time, and they kept on coming back together. Yeah, and they started. You're right. You're right.
Together, right. So that was always my thing. So, and it took me a while. Like, I've been to high school to figure, like, oh, fucking Neil Young played with them? Oh, shit, okay. Like, the same thing, like, learning about the Yardbirds or Cream or, like, where people come from and the origins of where they transition. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but it's way better. 3 names versus 4. Like, yeah. Hickory Dickory Dock and Steve.
I think why it had such resonance, obviously, beyond Neil Young having such an amazing career post them and being Buffalo Springfield pre them, is deja vu. It's much like when we talked about the Fleetwood Mac. Their big thing was that pivotal moment when they all were together and they were hating each other, but they were playing great music with their album Rumors. It was deja vu for Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Okay, yeah.
And their
Same
Woodstock performance, right? Yeah, that will,
right.
Was chronicled and will always be. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. That's pretty fucking, I do like, I have to say, I always respect that bands who have that fucking issue, have the beef, but you know what? Suck it up. We're gonna fight when we're done. We're gonna get drunk and have it out in the fucking parking lot. But let's get in the studio, make a great hit.
Yep.
Lay down the tracks like goddamn gentlemen, and then we'll fist fight and possibly break wine bottles and attack each other later on. Deal? Deal.
Right. Like the Beatles were bursting apart at the seams with Get Back, but they decided to, with everything. But they decided to come back together after that album one more time because George Martin said so, and they created Abbey Road. It was released first because it was such an easy thing. It was like, oh, we're all right. We're bandmates. Oh, right. Boom. Just flowed out of them. They released that, and then they finally were able to release that Get Back album that basically was kind of Paul's first solo album with the Beatles backing him.
Yeah.
I don't have any judgments. Anyway, the sources for this episode of Two Sided have been, first segment, the Atlanta Black Star, Reformation.org, mytpl.org, hankeringforhistory.com, presidentsbeforewashington.org, constitutionfacts.com, the Historical Archives, and the Historical Archives of the United States House of Representatives. Second segment, last.fm, Rolling Stone Magazine, nightswithAliceCooper.com, loudersound.com, classicalbumsundays.com, americansongwriter.com, thisdayinmusic.com, Variety Magazine, The Guardian, LA Times, and Deadline.
Holy shit. That was a lot. Let me just go on a limb and say my internet was down this whole week, so all my research was based on the backs of cereal boxes, and warnings on cigarette packs. Did you know that these motherfuckers can cause pregnancy issues? And got them on the pill. Am I right, John?
Well, it's better than the European ones. Those can kill you.
No, these ones don't. They
don't say it.
They complicate pregnancy. Well, shit, isn't pregnancy complicated already?
Well, they consider it a parasite, medically speaking.
I consider them parasites until they're at least 22.
I consider Parasite the best movie of a couple years ago.
Parasite is my favorite thing about my trip to Serengeti. No, because that's wrong. I would love that. The rainforest, no. Like anything, I would like, yeah, okay, so you got a parasite. But dude, what else did you do? Fucking a bunch of cool shit. Serengeti style, baby.
I'd rather Amazon Parasite. They get you real quick.
Yeah, but it's so damp in there. To get a Parasite?
Moist?
A moist Parasite? No, thank you. I'll take a dry Parasite any day. Something I get from the watering hole after I've been stranded and I see that strange, what looks like an oasis on the horizon. Oh, yep. No, it's not. It's just a mirage. So I end up drinking dirty water, get the Parasite, and then it kind of sweats out of you real quick because you're trying to survive. Walk at night, sleep at day. Walk at night, sleep at day.
Don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man. Cool, clean water.
Walk at night, sleep at day. Walk at night, sleep at day. Don't worry about it, Dan. Clean water.
We got some messages, and we're going to get out of here.
CSN&Y is Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Oh man, I love that band. Yo, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. That hits hard to my fucking heart. Like, I love fucking Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Like, fucking especially love fucking Neil Young. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Like, that is goddamn fucking legendary. Honestly, you can think what you think, but it really cuts deep. And if you haven't fucking heard them, and you haven't gone deep, and you haven't like done the whole fucking I just highly suggest check them out. Like, look it over because they got a lot of good fucking shit. They got a lot of good fucking shit. But maybe I sound like a retard or whatever.
No. Brother, no.
Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, like that's fucking cool shit.
I need to check that out, like John was saying, because John is a Neil Young fan. That was one of he tried to show me Neil Young, and I was like, no. I like him, but like, nah. Something about his voice, his solo stuff, the timbre of his voice. So I never like, nah. I have to say though, I haven't listened to a lot of his solo shit. I can't say I've ever listened to a whole album of his front to back.
Harvest Moon, start there.
Yeah, but or
Neil Young Unplugged, like the MTV Unplugged is the best.
It's still his voice, though, right?
Yes, he still actually is the singer. That's correct. Okay, right, so I'll give you an example. The first Bob Dylan concert I saw, I kind of made a reference to it. It was actually at the Arizona State Fair, weirdly enough. And I was like, dude, I wonder if Bob Dylan's going to do any
conventions. Conventions rule. That's a callback, John. Love the fairs, love the callbacks, love conventions.
I was wondering if he would do any covers, and if so, who would he cover? Well, turns out the only cover he did was Neil Young's Old Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when you have the person who is covered by everybody covering you, you know something's up in a good way.
Pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
So, and wait a second, our house? Wait, when I'm thinking our house, I'm thinking Cat Stevens. Wait, was there like another one?
Yeah.
Am I, like completely fucking retarded? I probably am, but that's what I think about. But
right, Cat Stevens was before.
Yeah, but it's not the song.
It's not.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard, but everything is easier with you.
It's that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It is that.
Yeah, it is that. That's that song.
Right. That's Cat Stevens. So they did it too.
He covered it.
Yeah. So did Joni Mitchell. So did, right? No,
they wrote it. It's their song.
John, I just watched a great episode of Poker Face about writing the songs and how murders take place, about who gets rights proprietarily. Super good. I know how to do it now.
I'll light the fire while you put the flowers in the vase you bought today. Ends the song. That's obviously Joni Mitchell's influence on Nash's song. Like that, they wrote the song together, and it is about their life at Laurel Canyon.
I feel like you're just reading so much into it. You're like, it really, that means there's children in a basement in a pizza parlor and they have a life in Laurel Canyon as lovers. It's true, man. Listen to the song again. Let's go backwards.
Wasn't Neil Young the guy who was like, oh, fuck Joe Rogan, take me off of Spotify? And a whole generation said, who the fuck is Neil Young?
Joni Mitchell one too.
Well, and you see now the connection.
Right, because she needed to protect the children of the pizza parlor and the roses in Laurel Canyon. John, it's all coming together. They make a united front. If we stay together, they can't separate us and interrogate us.
Well, before we get out of here, my boy Pete, is there anything from this episode you'd like to take a second glance at, a second look, a second thought, a second opinion? This is Pete's Retraction Corner.
Yeah, I definitely would, because I wish I would have seen what was at play here this whole time, John. That there was a whole ploy that this roses and Laurel. I didn't see that it was all signed, John. John, it's all coming together. We're going to talk about this in the green room. We're also going to talk about another fun thing that I just found out about, a really fun Airbnb in Santa Monica. That's for $96 a night or $76 a night. We're going to talk all about it, who it is, where it is, what it's about, here in the green room right after. You can catch it right now. John, I know you have something to say about that because you have a whole thing planned. And I love it when you do, baby. It's my favorite. But I just need people to know I got stories to tell. And I'm not leaving this room. My hands will be up. Look at my hands. I won't touch buttons. So we'll be here right now. Don't touch that dial. The green room starts right after this. Get it, John.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We have our open chat show live on stereo every Tuesday at our usual start time. So if you want to join us or want to throw some topics out there, email twosidedpod@gmail.com. TWO sidedpod@gmail.com. And for those listening live on the stereo app, stick around in this room for a continued chat in the green room right now for our after show wind down. That's a wrap for tonight. I'm John L. Peacock out in Brooklyn, New York.
And I'm Milo Pete out in Southern California.
And this was our show. You can eavesdrop wherever you get your podcasts and even join us live, both on our YouTube channel, handle at 2sidedpod, TWO sidedpod, all one word, and the stereo app. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, as we talk about the two sides of life, the serious and the fun, here on Two Sided. Oh, that was hard to get through. Love you, Pete.
Yeah, cheers, man. I'll see you in the green room.